So my favorite film of 2024 was The Substance, a film that surprised me from start to finish and ended up leaving a deep, dark scar that most likely won't heal on my psyche. A new body horror film called Grafted deals with very similar themes. So after this, we're going to get the skinny on Grafted. Grafted is streaming on Shudder. It's directed by Sasha Rainbow and written by Sasha Rainbow, Lee Murray, Mia Maramara, and Hweiling. A young, brilliant, and socially awkward exchange student named Wei, played by Joanna Sun, leaves her home in China to live with her aunt Ling, played by Zhao Hu, and cousin Angela, played by Jess Hong, in New Zealand. While her professor, Paul, played by Jared Turner, is impressed with Wei's scientific know-how and agrees to take her as his assistant, Wei fails to fit in with Angela and her friends Eve, played by Eden Hart, and Jasmine, played by Seppi Toa. You see, Wei and her father were burned back in China, and her father was developing a skin graft technique to regrow damaged skin. But after her father's experiment ended in his death, Wei sets out to perfect his theories and carry on with his research. Taking notice of Wei's talent in the lab, Paul, who is up for tenure and without ideas of his own, intends to steal Wei's new skin graft formula and take credit for it himself. But Wei decides to use the formula on herself, resulting in a series of events that spell disaster for all involved. Grafted strongly resembles last year's amazing The Substance in many ways. While it is not as creative as that marvelous film, it does toy around with a lot of the same concepts, including the obsession to look good in today's society, the basic need to fit in and be relevant to others, and how messing with the natural order of things often comes back to haunt you big time. All of this occurs in Grafted as Wei tries her hardest to befriend her cousin's clique. Mixing in elements of Mean Girls and maybe a bit of Heathers, Angela and her friends are not the friendliest to Wei, as Wei represents aspect of Angela's culture that she doesn't really want to acknowledge. The bullying that goes on against Wei is going to pull on the heartstrings, and it really succeeded in making me root for Wei to be better than trying to be like these mean girls. But if she did that, this wouldn't be a horror movie, would it? What transpires is a bit of body swapping as Wei's new skin grafting technique turns out to be only temporary and requires new skin to keep working, making Wei a vampire of sorts, in need of new faces to help her heal her own. This leads to some very heinous body horror as skin is ripped off, scraped off, clawed off, and shaved off in all kinds of toe-curling ways. These scenes get up close and personal and definitely will be too much for the weak-stomached. Still, the effects look good and practical, and much blood is spilled, so gorehounds are going to be happy about that. Logic sort of gets tossed out the window by the third act as Wei begins impersonating the people she steals the faces from. It's quite a leap that people in the film are actually fooled by Wei simply wearing the face of these other actresses, mainly because they have completely different body types than the short-statured Wei. I get it. We're supposed to suspend that kind of disbelief, but Wei gets into situations with people who intimately know the skin Wei is wearing, and one has to believe the cast has to be dumb as a rock for not noticing something is off. The cast is pretty solid all around. This is a film where not only do the actors have to play different characters, but they also have to play Wei wearing their skins. For the most part, this is successful, though I think there was an opportunity missed to have some kind of physical quirks that could have been added to Wei's performance and then reflected later on when the other actors are playing Wei. Instead, we're to believe Wei is such a chameleon that she's able to imitate these other characters without others noticing, and there really is nothing we know about Wei that indicate that she can do this. There's a scene where Wei attempts to mimic the way Angela and her friends are talking, but it's less than believable and only shows that she's no Rich Little in terms of impersonation. While again, it was very similar to the end of The Substance, I like the way Grafted wrapped up in a tragedy. It's different enough from The Substance to not be a complete ripoff. Most likely these two films were in production at the same time, but still the dark and grotesque tone is very similar. Grafted has some very grody gore and sports some solid acting from its entire cast. There is a poeticism to the way this one plays out, and I dug it quite a bit. I feel it's an inferior film compared to all of the heavy thematics the substance tackled, but the similarities guarantee it would make for a thrilling, albeit gross, double feature. Grafted plays on a lower scale, mixing Mean Girls with the goppiest of body horror. I definitely recommend this one, but only if you have a strong stomach. What are your thoughts on body horror? What's your favorite one? Let me know down in the comments. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're